Welcome back to the Cheat Code 150, where we're gonna get hired over here and not be homeless. Over here, we're working on valid anagram today. Let's get right into it with, here we go, valid anagram. So, given two strings, S and T return true if the two strings are anagrams of each other, otherwise return false. Yeah, I think I might have done something like this before. So, input as car, yep, that'd be true. And over here, jar and jam, that'd come out false. Okay. So this doesn't look that bad at all. I think what I'm gonna try to do here, and this is like first, let's try to work with like a basic solution first, and then we'll see if we do something that has more of the fun time complexity that they want. So we're gonna try for something what's like recommended. Open plus n. Okay. Give me two strings. Alright, well, I think we probably have a function that can just take the... That can just take the amount of times that we see a letter in the string, and then if the amount of times for the letter, if that's all true for both strings, like if they have the same amount of letter in each thing, that fulfills what you need for an anagram. So let's take... Can the strings be different lengths? It doesn't say they have to be the same length. So let's do something for that quick. So let's do the biggest string. So the biggest string length is going to be equal to... Yep, we have length over here. I'm so used to doing two length because of Java, but length over here of... No. Yeah, let's just have this be of S by default. Of that. And then let's do if the length of S is going to be... If that's less than the length of T, then we're going to take whatever the biggest string is, we're going to use that for a scanner. Wait, would that work? Hold on. Because then we'd overflow on the other string. Well, we know for a fact if the strings aren't the same length, then they're not anagrams. So let's just at the beginning, let's say if the length of S is not equal to the length of T, then just immediately we know we can return false because they won't be anagrams because they're different lengths. So whatever. So that's out of the way. Now we're gonna have I'm gonna want to take, let's iterate for the length of whatever string, because at this point we know they're gonna be the same length, so it doesn't matter. So for the length of that, so for x in range, done this last time so we don't do something silly like last time, length of, let's say, the S string over here. For that, we're going to want to get a collection of all the... Oh, not even. We can include this in the for loop. So we're going to include in the for loop a check through both arrays at the same, or both strings at the same time, and then use... Yeah, we can just check that while we're running through the loop. So let's have... I believe there's a function to get the letter count. And let's iterate over an I. For in range, we're going to get string count. Now, I know it's character wrap for Java. For Python, it's probably something different. Let's check that out real quick. Okay, I'm back. It looks like we're just going to take the S, and it's going to be indexed like that, and that's how we get the character at a certain part of the string. So that's pretty easy, actually. So then S, we're going to count what's in there. And then if it's equal to the other one, dot count. If it's equal to the other one, and yep, T, I. If it's equal to that, then we know we're fine, and we can keep on iterating through the for loop. Oh, wait, no, hold on, wait. If they're not equal, then let's immediately return false, because we know it's not an anagram. False. And then... Yeah, just return... I put false, false. Return false. And then return true if we make it throughout the entire loop, and it doesn't catch up on anything. So that should be good, I think. Hold on, wait. For this count... Oh, no, we want an if here, yeah. If that return false. And if we get through all of that, return true. And I think that makes sense. We're going to count the letter here. Okay. No, I lied. What do we get? We get true or false. Oh, so I swapped these out. If they're anagrams, hold on, wait. If they're not equal to each other, they should return false, right? Hold on, wait. So if the length is different, then obviously we're going to return false, so we're past that already. For I in range this, yeah. Then if s dot count is not equal to this, then we're going to end up returning false. And then we're going to return true if that's not the case. What? Hello? Well, I know we just need to swap these and we'll be right, but I want to know why. Okay, I've been staring at this for a second, and I think this should be an easy fix, because wait, I'm just taking this count. So really, I'm going through this first, and I'm saying, okay, there's two of them. But what I need to do is take the count of... Hold on. Is take the count of what's happening in the second string, but with the character of the first string. And then that should... Okay, I lied. Hold on, wait. Start out 2, 2, 2. False, true. True when it's false. Oh wait, because I just did that in the print line. Okay, boop. And then... Okay, that's great. Okay, nice. So then let's get rid of the print, and then... That looks pretty good, honestly. Would that not just be O of n since we iterate once? I mean, I don't see how much I could do besides this. And if they're different lengths, we account for that already. So they're always going to be the same length as the first string. And then... Yeah, no, I feel pretty good about this. I feel like there's definitely like some sort of hash map implementation that can make this better. But I don't really know what to add on to this. Return... Well, we could just one-line this, but I don't know if that matters that much. And then return true if that's not the case. Yeah. Right over that. Alright. Well, I mean... Okay, so I've been tweaking out over the runtime being so buns. But I perused the solution tab, and this is like the more basic solution. And no, wait, go back. And it performs a whole lot better. So I think even though the other solution is better for big O, you know, not necessarily the case for smaller data sets, because N of 2 can still outperform when it's like small enough. So I'm quite happy with this. This is great. Yeah, great work.